From Evoke Media, I'm Sabrina Miraj Naeem. With me is Cassia Binkowski, and this is Breaking Glass, a series of conversations with women around the world who are shattering glass ceilings and challenging social norms. They are audacious, gutsy, and their stories are echoed across borders and generations in a rallying cry that is changing the narrative for women everywhere. Today's conversation takes us to Amsterdam, but largely takes place in India, where we're speaking with Naysara. Naysara is the founder of Transgender India, an online portal which empowers thousands of transgender people across India with awareness and knowledge to make informed choices and find community. She also started the first ever trans-specific online discussion forum in India called Talk, which allows trans people around the country to question and discuss issues about gender, life, career, and transition.
Sabrina, this conversation is sensitive and inspiring, and it's just another example of a guest that opens our eyes to an experience which, to be honest, we didn't know very much about. Naysara is incredibly brave and vulnerable with us today. She walks us through her own experience transitioning, the personal and professional ramifications of that decision that she's endured over the years, and what she's doing to advocate for transgender rights across India.
Cassia, we learned so much in this conversation and are reminded of just how wildly diverse the stories and experiences are of individuals around the world who are fighting for gender equity. Take a listen. Naysara, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really interested in diving into a conversation that will touch on both personal issues and your journey, but also really what's impacting a whole community in India and even around the world. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, Sabrina, for having me here. I'm excited to be in the show.
Absolutely. So I want to start with your story at the moment you recognized with complete conviction that you were not living in the gender that was right for you, that you did not identify as a boy or a man. Take us back to that moment. What did that feel like?
Yeah, this was very long back when I was a child, and I always knew that the world that I was born into does not has got something wrong about me, and I didn't know what was it, and I was uh, more close to my female cousins, and um, I didn't want to play much with my male cousins, and though I like them, really like my male cousins as well. I love them and all that, but I was not interested in the typical games that these other male cousins of mine were interested in. So this was very early. Maybe I was 4 or 5 by that time. But I didn't know any better. I only knew that I am comfortable around women. And but when I was around 10, I saw I was watching this show that was reporting about strange things in the world. I was a very curious child, so I was watching this television, and then one of the items they had was this person under becoming uh, a woman from a man, and this was I mean, this was presented very, in today's terms, very crass and very crudely. But for me as a child, it was, yes, that's what I am. That's completely what I want to become when I grew up. So as I grew up, I learned more about transition. There was very little resources available back then. And as a child, you could only see transgender people on the streets. And these usually are the victims of the society. They have been pushed, they have been outcasted, and mm, that's the only role models that I could find then. And yeah, but then that also feared me, that also made me scared that is that what I want to become?
Can you paint a picture for us a little bit more around your childhood? So what part of India did you grow up? Did you have siblings? You talk about your cousins, but it sounds like, from such an early age, you recognized that there was something different about you, but you didn't have any sort of insight into what that really was. And then even at 10, which is still a young child, you had a clearer view of this is what I want without any understanding of what some of the broader implications societally, culturally, or familially would be. But just paint us a little bit of a picture of what kind of upbringing did you have? Talk about your family, talk about where you're from.
I was born in south of India in a place called Mangalore. It's a small town, I mean, small city. And I had two sisters and a brother. And they were elder to me. I was the last born. And my family was not that well to do, uh, but mm, uh, it was very, but it was a close knit community that I was living in where everyone, we had a huge family, uncles, aunts, and everyone living together, and everyone had a say in your life. So it was a close knit community. So yeah, that's where I was born. But what I want to stress here is that I was born to cisgender parents, heterosexual parents, and no one in my family that I or my parents knew had gender dysphoria or transgenderism or whatever you call it. So it is not that this is a point that drives home that it can happen to anyone's child. Anyone's child can be transgender. It's not a gene that makes us transgender. So it is maybe there is a biological underpinning, but it's not hereditary, or it's not something that, oh, it will only happen to certain class of people. No, it's just happens to it's just a variation in the nature, and it can happen anytime to anyone.
So, I want to reiterate something that you opened this conversation with. You said right away you were very young when you realized the world didn't get something right about you, as opposed to, which is so different from saying there wasn't something right about me, there was something wrong with me, which I think is an assumption, a stereotype that so much of society places on the transgender community. And I think it's so eloquent how you pointed that out right away, that when you growing up, you realized the world had something wrong about you. So I just want to acknowledge that. Were there experiences over the course of your childhood that really shaped your own sense of identity, your own self awareness?
My sense of identity, I would say, was very intrinsic to me, and other than few psychological characteristics that I get from my parents. So I very early in my childhood, I learned to hide it. I learned that this world is not safe for a child like me to live in. So I have to hide a part of me.
Did you experience that firsthand in any way, or was that just an observation you were making as a child about the world?
Yeah, I experienced it in my family, as I told you before, that I would play more with my female cousins. So there would be family members who would say, "Why to my parents in front of me? Why is your child playing with girls, and why don't they go play cricket with boys?" And so that was one way of society, my family telling me that, okay, this is not tolerated, so that as a child you feel ashamed that why do you want to play, why are you not interested in a certain kind of a play. So that was one way of society telling me, and second way was the bullying that you experience in the schools, that you are a bit effeminate, and there is uh, children are also fed with this gender stereotypes that they expect everyone to uh, behave a certain way.